Let's give our overall draft grades for the 49ers. Bay, I'll kick it back to you. A through F, what was your draft grade for the 49ers and why?
I gave it an A-, and I love the draft. From top to bottom, I can't nitpick too many of these picks. There's not much to complain about. We'll have to see how these guys develop. It's always tough to do draft grades before you've even seen them on the field. Right. But I love the draft, so I'm giving it an A-.
Okay, that's fair. Ben?
I'm going to go with a B+, pretty close to your grade too, Bay. And I think for me, the main thing is, a few points I've hit already, which is I think there was just better value. And if you look at overall where they took guys, they could have done better with that. But hey, overall, I like the draft because if you look at past the quarterback pick, they took two guys at each position where we felt like they needed to at least fill some sort of need. And for me, I'm really happy with that because I know some people might not think we necessarily need a running back, but I think with the Trey Lance offense, with what we're building, they're going to need more and more and more running backs. So, I wasn't necessarily even mad at that. I think for me, the biggest issue I have, and Jessie nailed this just a minute ago, was these corners. You can't wait to take a corner after pick 100 and have super high expectations for them. I mean, that's just the reality. So, I just feel like overall, like I said, B+, it was a good draft. There were some great picks. I felt really good overall. I don't think I graded anything less than a B- overall. But, they could have definitely strategically worked it out better. But then if you look at the rest of the NFL, there were a lot of other teams that screwed the drafts up. So you got to be happy with what you have. And I'm certainly very happy.
For sure. Josh says it wasn't possible to go earlier on corner. Samuel was the only one available. I don't understand that critique. So I actually wasn't as big on Samuel as a lot of other people. The guy that I really wanted was Aaron Robinson. He went round 3. So we absolutely could have gotten him in round 2. And then again, right before we took Embry, we had Melifanu go and we had Elijah Molden go, the two picks right before us. So if we would have taken one of them with that Sermon pick, then maybe Sermon still could have fallen to us with that later third round pick. Who knows? It's impossible to say. But those are 3 corners right there that we absolutely missed on. And I would have loved to have any one of them over the corner that we drafted first, in my opinion. So, Sam, what about you?
Yeah, I'll start off by saying that I disagree with that comment. I think at 43, there was cornerback talent available. You had Asante Samuel. You had Melifanu. You had Elijah Molden. There were a lot of other guys that were available at 43, or they could have, if they did want a cornerback, they could have traded up to get one. As we said before the draft, we don't think they're using all their picks, and they didn't. They traded up to get Trey Sermon. Why not trade up at the beginning of the first round? Maybe with the Jets, they were looking to trade out. Get a guy. I mean, Tyson Campbell went 33. I'm trying to remember another guy who fell a little bit in the draft later on, but nothing's popping in my head right now. But anyways, you could have got a guy at 43, in my opinion, that could have been a cornerback. And for me, the reason why we didn't take cornerback that early is, I mean, it makes my grade a B+, but I'm not surprised by this whatsoever because this team simply does not value cornerback. The only reason they drafted Ambry Thomas and they drafted Diamondor Lenore is because they need cornerback depth. This team does not value cornerback at all. They want to bolster in the pass rush. They want to bolster it with the linebacker core. They want the corners to do very little work. And that's why you haven't seen that many corners be brought in. The only big move that we have made at corner is Richard Sherman. Maybe Akella Witherspoon, you could consider a third-round pick being a big move, but I wouldn't consider it that. It's really Richard Sherman. Jason Verrett was on like 1-year prove-it deal when he came in. He's been on 2 more after that, so that's not really that big for this team. K'Wan Williams, also a guy that was a very under-the-radar signing at the time. So there's nothing that's been big with cornerbacks. So I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. But on the offensive side of the ball, I really like what we did here. You got Trey Lance. Boom. You got your quarterback for the future. You got Aaron Banks. Boom. You got another protector for Trey Lance, and you can help with McGlinchey, who's struggling in pass pro, with a guy who excels in pass pro. On top of that, you got Austin Watkins. I know we didn't draft him, but he can definitely be the Kendrick Bourne replacement if they want. I thought we could have drafted him if we kept our 7th. We traded it to the Raiders. But overall, I really like Austin Watkins as a player. And Jalen Moore as well, bolstering that offensive line. Keep on doing in that. And then on the defensive side, I mean, even though the cornerbacks, Ambry Thomas, Deommodore Lenoir, not the cornerbacks we necessarily wanted, but still great cornerbacks, gritty cornerbacks. I think it definitely fills the need for the 49ers. And we obviously talked about Talanoa Hufanga. We all love that guy. And also, I'll go back to the undrafted free agents. Not Nick Hilliard. Justin Hilliard, excuse me. That guy's a perfect scheme fit for this 49ers team. When he's healthy, he's a 3-down linebacker easily, or a 4-down linebacker, I should say. Easily. The injuries are really the only concern. This guy was a captain at Ohio State. He possesses everything you want in an NFL linebacker. And if he stays healthy, I think this pick can hit really hard for the 49ers because he's a perfect scheme fit. I think he can do great things in the Bay Area. Absolutely.
Josh Mangold says, but Melly and Melvin went 100 and 101. Yeah, that's my exact point. So we went with Trey Sermon at 88. We could have had either one of those guys, and then with our 102 pick, instead of taking Ambry, we could have taken maybe Sermon's there. I'm not going to guarantee he was, but I feel like we got a great value in Elijah Mitchell. And even if Sermon didn't end up on this team, we would have been okay. I just think that corner spot is one that we definitely needed very bad. And that's why I'm going to agree with you. I think B+ is exactly where I'm ranking it. I think it's a fair grade. Obviously, I'm giving an A++, as many pluses as I can give for the Trey Lance pick. That's my guy. And I think, again, I like every single player that we took. It's just where we took them and who we missed out on. So I can't go and say that we've got an A grade because there are things that I wish we would have done differently. So time will tell. Hopefully it plays out great. And again, the players are extremely solid. I think overall this draft is going to be a great draft because ultimately I expect Trey Lance to be an absolute savage. And as long as he pans out, well, then this draft will be revisionist history and everybody will give it an A. And that's what it comes down to. So
absolutely.
Yeah. No,
and can you bring up, before we move on? Oh, go ahead, Ben.
I was just going to say, that's the point, Jesse. It's like if Trey works out, this is a good draft. If he doesn't, it isn't, So,
yeah.
I mean, well, like 5 years from now, that's just how people are going to look at it.
Yeah. East Bay Chris. I don't know when you're trolling and when you're serious, but you said, I don't think Mitchell makes the team. I don't see it with that guy. What were you going to say, Sam? You wanted me to bring up a comment?
Can you bring up Josh Mangold's comment? If it's a bit up, like, oh my God, that's a horrible take. I kind of just want to explain that really quickly.
Yeah,
Afeto Melifonwu, in my opinion, was a second-round talent and could have gone at 43, and that was the consensus on most mock draft boards. Now, it didn't happen in the real draft, but that guy is a second-round talent. He absolutely could have gone at 43, and I think that would have been a fantastic pick. I think that would have been an A+ pick for the 49ers because that's where he was getting mocked. I don't know why he fell. Maybe it was teams didn't really need cornerbacks. I don't think we saw that many DBs going round 2 and round 3 after Asante Samuel. So, yeah, Afeto Melifonwu is definitely a second-round talent in my opinion, and the Lions got an absolute steal. We definitely could have taken him at 43, but apparently we weren't that high on him, so it is what it is. If we wanted Ambry Thomas a bit more, I think if we wanted Afeto Melifonwu, the 88 trade would have been for him, not Trey Sermon. If we get Ambry Thomas, that was the next best option at 102, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
And I just want to make a note with Mfondu. He had some injury stuff that ended up coming out. And also, I know just leading into the process, the days going in, he was one of those guys that people heard was going to fall. So it makes sense with what the noise was around him.
Yeah.